and overall thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Swinny, because did you watch our reaction to Perfect Dark? That's probably where we're going to open the batting.
Okay, so I get this is the time when I'm going to tell you guys how I absorb the information about the Game Awards. So I'm like, oh, that's right, the Game Awards happened, and you guys, you're like, are waiting there, you're sitting there, not staying off the internet because you don't want to be spoiled because we're doing that live reaction. I'm like, oh, that's right, I'll go check out the news, just at my own leisure. Oh, a new Mass Effect. A new Perfect Dark. Oh, cool. I'll watch those videos later. Oh, open a new tab. Okay, come back. Yeah, whatever. And then, so I watched all the cool stuff, and then I'm like, you know what? When you guys did that reaction and put it up, I said, all right, I might actually watch the show now, but I might play a game at the same time as I'm watching you guys react to it. So I had the luxury of watching the show, watching your reaction, but also playing some games at the same time. And I was really happy with the way that played out. So
I like how he's making a massive knock on our efforts. And then, what the second part is? I want to say this because I didn't react in the private chat about it. In the private chat, you turned into like the YouTube comments in person. You're like, oh, how'd you guys not know about this? How'd you not know about that? I'm like, dude, calm down. So yeah, Perfect Dark. What do you think about the trailer, Swinny?
Oh, it was a cool trailer. I hated Perfect Dark Zero, as a lot of people did.
That was a 360 launch title, right?
I believe so, yeah. And
about that, yeah.
It was. I played it a long time afterwards, and actually played through the game first co-op. And I don't think age would have probably made a difference on how I feel about that game. I think that game's really, really rough and really crap, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped for this because, first of all, I'm kind of happy that Rare's not working on it. I think Rare is not the same Rare as it was back in the day in many ways. And also the games have moved on from, GoldenEye and Perfect Dark in terms of where the expectations and everything for first-person shooters on consoles. And, I'm assuming this is going to be PC as well. Keen to see what the Initiative does, the new Xbox studio, with this game. I quite like the trailer. It was cool. While I knew it was Perfect Dark, so I might not have picked on it straight away, it was cool when they had that, they go through past the Datadyne symbol, so anyone that was a big fan, that kind of would have been a moment like, oh my god, is this Perfect Dark kind of thing? But I thought it was a pretty cool trailer. I know Inter got that it ended up being a trailer you liked.
Loved it. No, I just didn't really like. I don't know. Sometimes those trailers. You know what? To be fair, though, and I was being silly and facetious, but there is some truth in what I'm saying. If you're not attached to the IP, and I've never really been a huge fan of Perfect Dark, never really played it, so I don't really have any attachment to it, and the whole trailer just felt a bit, just, I don't know, generic, I guess, to those type of trailers. But I think if you like the IP, you'd be like, oh, this is so sick. I'm so hyped for this.
Yeah, it's weird because I knew it was Perfect Dark, so it's weird, you don't get that initial reaction of what is this? What time were the Game Awards actually streamed live? Were they in the middle of the night for us?
In Australia?
Yeah.
No, it's like 11 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not. I think, did you say, oh, we'll take the day off work next year? It's like,
yeah, next year you guys are.
For sure. The Game Awards? I don't know about that. But yeah. So,
you know what? I'll just quit my job in anticipation of that.
Good.
Well, Mike, you could probably just watch it while you're like in a meeting anyway.
And yeah, like Mike, did you have anything else to add? I know that we reacted to it already.
No, nothing.
Yeah. Mike, do you remember we actually played Perfect Dark on 64 like years ago? I think it was was it New Year's?
Yeah.
I think we were just up till, we'll play through co-op, and we actually had a blast. Like the co-op in that was actually pretty fun. So
yeah, it was good. Yeah. And then do we want to get into Dragon Age?
Yeah, so Dragon Age was a new, I'd say, proper cinematic trailer was shown. This is my favorite thing they've shown of this game so far. Very fan-centric, so, when you guys were watching this, the fact that Varric was voicing the whole thing was obviously lost on you guys, which is
It
understandable.
was actually. Yeah.
Which is really cool because you're like, oh my god, Varric! Varric is one of the biggest fan favorite characters in the whole series, and he was
He's the magic elf dude, right?
no, Varric is the dwarf.
Oh,
The dwarf companion that's in Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. So we don't know if he'll be coming back as a playable.
way off.
Yeah, if he's a companion. Well, you're probably thinking Solus because Solus is in the trailer.
Yeah, maybe I
Solus,
was thinking that because he was in the trailer, right?
yeah, Solus is the Dread
Yeah.
Wolf. So Solus is the bad guy of this game. Well, he's being set up to be the bad guy of this game. And they pretty much like the what they showed, like it was awesome because it pretty much confirms that they are setting this game into Tevinter, and we kind of knew that from what they've shown previously in a way, but also at the end of the DLC for Inquisition, they kind of threw a dagger in the map at Tevinter, and that's just really really cool because Tevinter is just this setting like the capital city Minrathos that people have always wanted to see. So it's just a really really cool trailer, and I'm fine if they just call this Dragon Age because we've actually never had a game just called Dragon Age because the first game was Dragon Age Origins. So if they just end up just calling this Dragon Age, which is possible, then yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. I just think it's always lazy when they do that kind of stuff. Like Doom, and then it becomes annoying because then you have to go, Doom 2016.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
It's annoying, but you don't have that problem with this one because it was always subtitled something, or Dragon Age 2 was Dragon Age 2, but Inquisition and Origins were subtitled. So
yeah, you never had a console called Xbox One, so that's fine to call it Xbox One. And yeah, dear Xbox. No one ever says original Xbox now.
Cool.
And then, another game. I feel like if you better join these goddamn reactions next time, Swinny, with all your comments. Then the next game that we wanted to cover was Back for Blood. The game that we were like, wow, this is like Left 4 Dead. Is this Left 4 Dead? 3. The spiritual successor.
Yeah.
I thought this looked cool, but like, what did you think, Swinny?
Oh, it's more Left 4 Dead, which is great. I never played, I think we may have talked about this before, but I never played Left 4 Dead 2, but we played the first one quite a bit. And Mike knows how that experience went with him, but we'll get into it.
I don't know why you guys keep giving me shit about it. It's not my fault you're so slow.
We should. What
is it? A walking simulator game? It isn't. You go there to shoot zombies.
Wait. Hang on. We got to tell the audience this. So you're a single child, and you never grew up like learning about sharing.
Don't bring my mom
like
into this.
You never learned how to share, and then whenever you play co-op games, you always take
I never learned how to share because I never had anything growing up because we're poor.
You take the resources, you take the health, you run ahead. Leave
I
everyone behind.
Trigger the witches.
So I wanted to clarify, this is a game that was known about, but we hadn't seen yet. So it's great to finally.
I haven't heard about this, so that's cool.
Yeah, even the title. I haven't heard of the title.
Yeah, so it was like I was reading stuff from like June last year about it. So it's been known for a long time.
Oh,
but what does worry me, and I know this is for some people might get annoyed at this, but anytime they announce a multi-platform game that's also coming to Switch, it makes me go, well, I don't know, like especially like the Switch we know just struggles with any kind of like game that's like requires high performance and stuff. So it just worries me. Is this actually a pretty small scale, lower budget affair? I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I was really shocked to see the Switch as well. And you know what? I'm gonna forget which game it was, but Disco Elysium. That they said PS5 and PS4, but it was also Switch and Xbox later. I thought that was really odd. I know we're gonna cover that later, but yeah, this game, I don't know. Like I hadn't played Left 4 Dead, but Left 4 Dead to me still kind of, it just looks different to Left 4 Dead. I think I like Left 4 Dead more from what I've seen of both of these games. Maybe it's a bit harsh. It's still pretty early.
Yeah, and it was very early footage, or at least they said it was early.
Yes,
footage.
It was pre-alpha. Pre-alpha. And it's coming out on everything in 22nd of June 2021. Crimson Desert.
Yeah, so
aka Red Desert.
So Pearl Abyss, and I as soon as I saw the name Crimson Desert, I'm like, is this from the people who make Black Desert? And it was. So it's like, okay, so I've actually played quite a bit of Black Desert, even though I'm not really a fan of MMOs in any way, but I gave it a shot. I probably put about 20 or 30 hours into it, which is not a lot for an MMO, but decent enough. And the game is always, okay, it looks really pretty, but it's kind of also janky in the same way, in many ways. So this kind of gave me that same impression, where it looks really great, especially in still screenshots, but the animations and things leave a little to be desired. So that's the impression I got of this game. It looks pretty cool. From what I've read, it is very single player focused, but does bring in multiplayer as well. But that's as opposed to like it being an MMO or anything like that. It looks kind of cool. You guys mentioned Assassin's Creed. It does have a bit of an Assassin's Creed vibe too. I'm not going to lie, but
yeah, it totally did. Yeah.
Well, that's until it got to the combat. Then the combat looked very action MMO to me, which makes sense because they make an action MMO. So, but yeah, so it's coming to PCs and they just say consoles. I'm going to assume it's probably going to hit next gen as opposed to current, but we'll see.
And Switch.
We'll see. Yeah, well, the thing is, Black Desert there's a Black Desert mobile version that actually looks really good as well. So they possibly could do it on Switch.
And the Callisto Protocol. This is something that that Mike picked up when we were watching it live. You're like, oh, this is like Dead Space. This is like Dead Space. And then it was from the creator of Dead Space. We still don't know when this is coming out, but this is seems very well into development. But we didn't really get. It was just a teaser trailer, right? Like just a trailer.
It was just a teaser trailer, yeah.
So, have you guys, other than what you saw in that teaser, and in your reaction, do you know anything else about this game?
Nope.
This game, no. Yeah.
No spoilers.
Would you believe me if I said it's actually set in the world of PUBG?
Is it?
What? Really?
Yep. It's pretty much now. They may change that, but
Doesn't seem like it.
What's the link?
It's set far into the future of in the world of PUBG. They've clarified that actually in articles, which is just bizarre.
Advertising? What's the point of doing
because
that?
they're linked to the I don't know I don't know the studio structure or whatever, but they're under the same umbrella and they're linked to PUBG.
Right, okay, fair enough.
So
but
I think
it's
like
very far-fetched.
It's really weird, yeah, and it's like
weak link.
It's kind of
stupid.
It seems to me almost like Cloverfield-esque, where it's like, well, we're just going to kind of link it in this weird way. I reckon, I have a feeling will probably forget that they ever said that and never make mention of it again.
Set in the same narrative universe as Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
But set centuries into the future. It's like, what's the point? It's so odd.
Yeah, exactly. It's so odd. Anyway. Fair enough. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. I love Dead Space, especially the original. 2 was good, polished it. 3 kind of became a little overly the top actiony, but yeah, excellent games.
We're probably due for one, right? Because I'm just seeing now, like, Dead Space 3 was like 2013.
Yeah.
So by the time this game comes out, it's going to be almost like coming up to 10 years since the Dead Space game.
Yeah. But EA went on this run at the time with Dead Space and Dante's Inferno, where they were kind of coming up like they had Visceral, working on stuff, and they kind of got away from that, working on these new IP like AAA IPs and stuff.
They moved on to basically multiplayer everything almost.
Yeah, I mean, not that you could probably ever do a sequel to Dante's Inferno because that you kind of how many more circles of hell are there?
Yeah, exactly.
But by the way, I love that game.
Make up a few more.
Anyway, it's just
that was a little lesser known gem. That game.
Yeah, Visceral have been around for a long, long time. They've made a lot of interesting games. They've gone from like real pure EA games to just like games that are out there. It's quite interesting, their history. And then a game that I was like super amped about. And I must admit, I was like a bit spaced out when I was watching this trailer. And then I was like, wait a second, this is Evil Dead. So Evil Dead,
like
the
game. Wait, what? What? Oh my God.
So Swinny, had you heard anything about this? Because I hadn't heard anything about this game.
No, I just remember was it PS2 I think it was PS2 Evil Dead game. That's the last Evil Dead game I even know of existing. So,
Wasn't he a character in Dead Before Daylight
I'm not
or
sure.
something? Because that's what I thought. I thought it was just going to be another character announcement or something for that game.
I mean, Ash.
Yeah, Ash. I thought.
Yeah,
He was
no, it was always going to be like a game because it was, you know, the way it was like bringing into it and all the characters and everything like that. I was like, wow, okay, this is Evil Dead. So it's coming out next year, and
So Ash is playable, or is a character in Dead by Daylight. So you're right about that.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. So this kind of looks to me like a Back for Blood set in that universe.
well, that's what I was wondering. Like, what kind of game is this? I'm not really. Is it a co-op game? I couldn't really tell.
It looks co-op, yeah. Oh yeah, the way they introduced the multiple characters, it's co-op for sure.
Take all comers.
I actually feel like it's going to be a third-person Back for Blood. I'm calling it now.
Well,
yeah,
again,
it literally says take on all comers in co-op and PvP action.
There you go.
PvP, interesting. I don't know much more about it. Do you even know who's making this, Swinny?
Yeah. So I know it's Boss Games or something. Like, it was a studio that's not super well known. I think it's been published by Saber Interactive. I did look it up because I wanted to see what else the developers had worked on, and I couldn't find much information. So that's not always a bad indication. It's just, you know, it is what it is. So.
And what do you think of the character models, Swinny?
Interesting. It's clearly the fact that Switch is also, again, one of the platforms they're aiming for. They're clearly going for style over graphical fidelity, which is cool. You know, like, not every game is going to be, you know, look like a super AAA title. So I think
it still looked pretty good, I reckon.
Oh, you reckon? I think, but you're not very familiar with Evil Dead, right?
What, the movie? Yeah, I've watched the movies.
Okay.
But I mean, it looked alright. It was stylized, but it didn't look bad. It didn't look like overly stylized or anything like that.
I just felt like it needed to be a little bit more stylized, if that makes sense.
More stylized?
Well, it kind of, it to me kind of fit into that, like, just trying to go for an almost cartoony look, but then it's kind of not.
So we had a Blair Witch game recently. There's an Evil Dead game now. I'm just wondering, is this a new trend of? And Friday the 13th
horror
had a game. I was like, are all these classic horror films going to get games? Is that kind of just
another
the next property to hit? You know, we're going to get a Sleepaway Camp. Oh, actually,
Cabin in the Woods game.
Sleepaway Camp game or something similar to it. So
I think so, probably. and one thing I just wanted to shout out, I was really happy that Callie from the TV series, so Ash versus the Evil Dead, is actually in this game. So, and they've got, like, obviously characters from the whole series. So I thought that was really, really cool because she's a really cool character.
Speaking of who's in a game,
hi, my name's Vin Diesel.
I gotta arrest these segues off you.
That was a really good impression. It took me by surprise.
What?
Not so much.
Yeah, no, you go too far, Mike. You go too far.
My name's Vin Diesel.
I can't.
It's terrible.
I can't go deep enough.
I can't go deep enough.
So Arc 2 is what you're referring to. So
Really
I had zero clue what
voice.
this game was when we were watching it until right at the end. I was like, oh, this is
Same.
something like Ark.
I don't think you're the only one. I even knew what it was, and I still forgot halfway through the trailer.
Wow.
Well, Ark Survival Evolved is a massive game. Like, that is a really popular game. That people play that religiously. It's just one of those ones where it's a bit of a niche thing. So yeah, they're making the sequel. They're also making an animated series as well, starring Vin Diesel.
Which is why I think Vin Diesel was in that trailer. I don't think I'm calling it now. I don't think he'll be in the actual game.
I think they've clarified
they
he's
just
in
used
the
him as a
game.
character.
I think
He is in the actual game.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely in the game.
Oh,
They wouldn't make
I'm
that model
surprised
for
by that,
nothing.
actually.
No, dude, come on. Why
Well,
would
I
they
would
make
have
that
thought
model?
they would have made it a model just because to tie into the animated series.
That would also be one of the biggest examples of false marketing in a long time if they did that.
Yeah,
That'd be like Dead Island levels. But honestly, this CG trailer I just thought looked just just really bad, honestly. Like,
Was it because of the blood?
he looked like
when the
he'd been
dinosaur was eating people.
Vin Diesel looked like he'd been deep faked on. He really did.
Well, that's the
Deep
problem. That's the problem with any game where it takes a real person that you've seen so many times and puts them in a game.
Not always,
It's hard
though.
to get that realism there.
Not always. Like, there's games that have celebrities in them that I don't get that feeling from. Now, this was a CG trailer, so maybe, the in-game model or whatever, or he might not be the person you play as, he might be like an important character.
You reckon the in-game model's going to look better?
Yeah, probably. So I reckon the CG trailer was really awkward, specifically. So
it was very odd. And then, did you see all the blood, Swinny? I know that we kept on banging on about it.
no. Every time you mentioned it, because I was playing a video game at the same time, I looked back and I'm like,
You turn your head, I'm like, I missed it.
You need to go back.
I'm not
and look at
rewinding
it.
this crap.
You need to go back and look at it. It's so weird. It's like I can't get over. It's like it surely has to be a style thing. They've gone for this bizarre look because it just doesn't make sense. I've never seen anything like that. Yeah, it's pretty rough, and I never have got those type of vibes from Ark Survival Evolved before. So it's kind of interesting. And is it exclusive to Xbox Series X, Winnie?
So it's exclusive to Xbox consoles. We don't know if that's timed or not. And I would assume would be a PC release as well. They haven't clarified that, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty safe bet it's going to be on PC. So exclusive to Xbox consoles, at least limited.
Fair enough. And then we have so Ghost and Goblin Resurrection, and I don't know if you saw me at the start of this when on the reaction videos, Winnie, but for a moment I was like, "Whoa, is this going to be Metroid?" I was like so amped for it to be Metroid. I think I would have lost my shit if it was a Super Metroid remake or like an HD remaster.
I actually really I do like the visuals of this because initially it drew me, but then when I realised what they're going for a bit of a Python-esque look to it. Like if you look at some of the arts close up, I actually like that approach to this game because
it's like an art book.
Yeah, out of any game that could kind of, with the exception of like Rock of Ages, which already does it and things like that, that's going to do like a Python-esque. I think this is a good choice for it.
Yeah, so I'm totally on the other side of the fence. I really, really dislike this version. Like I would never play this version over the original version. I think it looks way, way, way worse than the original, like, what was it, like 1985 version that came out on the arcade? Apart from
way worse?
Yeah, I think this looks terrible to me. No, it's just personal. It's subjective, right? It just looks... I don't want to, knock the developers and stuff like that. I really don't like the art design at all. And I think it's going to put a lot of people off. I think, sure, like, some people will be into it, but I think... Because the thing is... Like, I've played a lot of these games, like, pretty religiously on the arcade. And, I look at it and I go, I would never play this. I would never play this version. I'm like, that's not a good sign to me. Like, that there's going to be a part of the audience that's, like, put off by this game and what they've done to it. So, yeah, not a fan personally. But, yeah, I see what you're saying, Swinny, with the Python-esque stuff. I'm just looking at the screenshots now. But the problem is, like, in motion, it just doesn't quite look right. It looks a bit... like a Adobe Flash game or something where just things don't fit well together, like stylistically.
I thought it was pretty good. It actually reminded me of a game called Black Knight Sword, a Grasshopper game, which kind of was, I wouldn't say looked exactly like Monty Python, but this kind of gave me the vibes of that, and I really liked that game as well. So, yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, but what was exciting was the Capcom Arcade Stadium that they just flashed for...
Was it?
Like 2 seconds.
Was it exciting if you watched the full trailer?
Have they released a full trailer for that?
Yeah, they released a full trailer right away. So it's on Nintendo YouTube channel and everything. So
yeah, it's got like arcade games in it. How sick is that?
Yeah, but it's a free-to-play game.
So wait, how do you pay for it?
So I don't know the full details because they haven't gone into those details yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably going to be similar to what was that thing on Xbox 360? It was a game room where essentially they'll probably have things where, you can buy packs of credits to play. I'm going to buy a pack of 100 credits so you can share across the different games they release. It wouldn't surprise me if they do that kind of thing, or it could just be, okay, the fact that they say free to play, but I know there's always going to be a catch with free to play. I know that just has to be, right?
Has to be,
Because
yeah.
that's just the business model. It wouldn't make sense
Yeah.
otherwise. But I'm just curious to see exactly what that catch is. I know they've released Capcom Arcade collections plenty of times, so I'd be more happy with them just doing more packages around that where you just buy it once off. But I guess it makes sense if people just want to purchase one specific game in their collection, or maybe just a handful of games, then maybe it will make sense. But I love the trailer though, like how they presented it. It's really, really cool look. I'm just very maybe check out that video and then for some more details.
Yeah, it's interesting because there is things for free, but it seems like it's coming in packs. Like you have a pack of 10 games, another pack of 10 games, and another pack of 10 games.
Okay, well then
if you only want one of the games in the pack, you gotta buy the whole pack.
They've actually done something similar to that before. I can't remember if it was Capcom or if it was Konami. I remember something like that where you purchase, like you download a shell of a game and then you purchase the things within it. I have a feeling it was Capcom, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, and it seems really weird the way that they've broken it all up. I don't know. I'm going to check it out. I love these early Capcom games. I do like when we're not going to cover it this week, obviously, because it's like such a big week in gaming, and there's a lot to cover in this show.
So here's the thing I was thinking of. It's called Capcom Arcade Cabinet. Back in 2013. So I don't know if it's the exact same thing. It wouldn't surprise me if it is similar. So
yeah, I always love these kind of things, and there's been a lot of work in the FPGA community, so sort of the hardware cloning / emulation style thing around Capcom. So yeah, I do want to cover that in a future show more in depth. Yeah, because that's also another way to play it.
Yeah, so that was also, it was like you download a shell game and then it was 5 separate packs, each had 3 games in them.
I think that's what they're doing, but more games in the packs that they're releasing, it seems.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and sticking with Capcom, Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah. Did you want to launch with this trailer, or?
Oh, I just wanted to make mention that this was probably the best trailer they've shown yet.
It looks so good.
Really, they've definitely...
Of the game, you mean, or of the awards?
No, of the game, I meant, of Monster Hunter Rising. So, Rise, not Rising. They also definitely cherry-picked the footage. I think that they made sure to choose things that, even the game's improved a lot, which it could have, or they were a bit more selective to make sure it looked better as opposed to showing some stuff that had poorer frame rates and things. But this is great, and I'm super pumped for this game. I actually started up, was it Monster Hunter Generations on the 3DS? This week as well, just so I wanted to give it a shot because I was playing my 3DS with doing game in some other year. So I'm like, I'll actually load this up. I've never played any Monster Hunter game other than Monster Hunter World. And I think Monster Hunter Rise is going to be the next game I play because it is, I think, tough to go back, especially to, like a low-powered console compared to, playing something Monster Hunter on Xbox One. So I think this is a nice in-between. I'm super pumped for this game.
Well, Monster Hunter World as well had so many quality of life improvements and huge amount of updates. But I've got Monster Hunter World. I was actually thinking of putting it into the PS4 Pro and playing it, but then there's something about just having it portably that feels like it's just so perfect for this series and what the series is trying to do. I feel like I'm definitely going to go in on this game. I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's probably one of my more anticipated games that I can think of, actually.
Yeah,
that it's coming out.
We talked about before. I think this game is going to go gangbusters. It's going to be one of the biggest selling games of the year. I reckon it's going to be.
You reckon it's going to be a monster hit?
Oh. Yeah, I reckon it will explode. So
it's going to hunt down the competition.
It's going to rise through the ranks.
I already said that.
Oh, damn
it. At first, I thought you guys were going to be silent for a few seconds. I was like, damn it, you guys have got me. I can't do anything now. So Monster Hunter Rise coming out on the 26th of March, 2021. I'm still waiting to figure out what's going on with the amiibo situation there. Because Nintendo Australia did say the 3 amiibo are coming to Australia, and then we'll tell you later how we're going to distribute it, which is so weird of a statement. But yeah, we haven't had any updates. So I'm like, I'm going to be so annoyed if they don't bring it out over here because I would have imported it otherwise. But we'll see how we go. And one of the last games we'll cover, Disco Elysium, the final cut. So, I mean, they were hinting at this all the way leading up to the Game Awards. They had their little teasers where it was like sooner. And it was always, like these games were always going to come to console at some point to get that next boost of sales. The only thing that I thought was weird, there's more voice acting. There's a whole bunch of stuff, quality of life improvements with the new version of Disco Elysium. But I was actually really surprised when they, at the end of the trailers, had just PS4 and PS5. I was like, wow, okay. Sony's obviously done a deal with them.
It was supposed to come on Switch for a while now, and
I wonder. We've got to remember this is also a small developer. Yeah. I wonder if it also makes sense for them to make sure this may possibly have be the first console game they've worked on. So I wonder if there's also a strategic thing there to say, let's get the one right for this. We know that the player base of the PS4, PS5 is going to be probably the most receptive to Disco Elysium, and it has a huge amount of huge player base. I wonder if it's also part of that, but it could be some deal as well. Who knows?
It's kind of like the opposite. There's two strategies really. Like there's one where if your game's small, it actually makes sense to bring out on all the consoles because you have then the ability to get the most noise and traction in the community, get other people buying it, all that kind of stuff. I think this game is much bigger than that. I think this game is fairly well known, and I think this is just a clear cut. Sony has paid them money to launch for a very. I wouldn't be shocked, dude, if it was like whenever the release date actually is, because we know it's March 21, but whatever that actual date is. Mark my words, plus 6 months on it, and that's when Switch and Xbox will come out, and it'll be like a 6 months exclusive contract because it just doesn't make sense any other reason.
Yeah, but the reason why I also thought the other thing is, then that's also, again, it's a small team. That means that any post-launch support patches, anything like that, then they can nail it with that platform first.
Yeah, but like, why you would, dude? Like. The difference between PS4, PS5, and then Xbox is so marginal. Like, the only reason why people are launching on one or the other is really exclusive deals and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, it's just one of my theories.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely an exclusivity. Because they don't even refer... The fact that they don't even say in the trailer Xbox and Switch at all, to me makes no sense. Because if you know that it's coming out to those later, you would say that. Outside of, someone's paid you to not say that. But yeah, like a lot of people rave about this game. I don't know much about it, actually. I don't know. Have you played it, Sweeney? I can't remember if you have.
No, because I was waiting for a console port.
Oh, okay.
But I really want to play it.
But surely
it's on my wish list on Steam. I think it's the only game I have on Steam that's on my wish list.
It feels more of a PC game to me, though. I'm surprised you haven't played it on PC, Mike.
Yeah, I've been meaning to, and I think I'll probably just end up doing that.
Yeah, well, it'll probably go on sale now.
I thought it'd be perfect on the Switch, though. I love sort of any isometric type of game on the Switch. So I'm waiting for that.
And just the final thing you wanted to call out, Sweeney, with just all the celebs.
Just put it down as a note, the fact that they had some pretty big names on the show. Like, it was kind of crazy, especially for a show that there was no live crowd. I've no idea if that's a reflection on how big the Game Awards have gotten or how different things are in the current, state of entertainment. That you got Christopher Nolan presenting Game of the Year is insane to me. It's crazy.
And he was so Sweeney and I, and Mike, you're a fan of his work, right? Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, massive.
Or as his mates call him, Chris.
Chrissy.
Nolan.
He was so flat in that whole thing. It was quite funny, actually. And then that's his kind of normal temperament.
I'd say he's just a flat person.
Yeah, no, he is. Like I've watched so many interviews with him because I think he's a really
calm and
fascinating
collected,
guy.
not flat.
Oh, it's very flat. It wasn't animated. Like even
Yeah,
when he
he's
announced
calm.
Game of the Year, it was just
Excellent.
very like nonchalant. Like Last of Us Part 2. And you didn't even hear him say it at first, Mike.
Yeah, like what? What was it?
But before you make this mistake, Swinny, I just wanted to call out your little your dirty mind Freudian slip with one of the presenters. You've got Alison
Yeah,
Brie.
I saw that.
Alison
Yeah.
Brie presenting. I'm like, I don't know where
I'm like,
Swinny's mind
what?
is.
She was on this?
She wasn't.
No, who was it?
What?
No, who was it I was thinking of?
See, this is Swinny's dirty mind of just thinking about Alison Brie
No, what?
going to Mr. Skin.
No, isn't it? Who's the Captain Marvel person?
Brie
Not
Larson.
Alison Brie.
Brie Larson. Oh no, that's not the. That's a pretty easy confusion to make because
No, that's a Freudian
Yeah,
slip.
one's blonde, one's brunette.
I know
no,
you two
the
have the
word
hots for her.
name
So.
Brie. Come on.
Well, you know,
Brie
people do share the
Larson.
same names. We literally share the same name. I've got my middle name is
come
your
on.
first
Like,
name.
it's not like I wrote like they share the same name. It's just like the same last name, first name. That's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
would be
actually-
an easy mistake to
I
make.
didn't actually
but
watch that. Like, there's some stuff I didn't watch all of the show. Like, there's some stuff that like around that stuff where I was like off doing something.
and normally would believe you, but the fact that you used to have posters of Alison Brie on your wall
Totally.
in your bedroom,
Alison Brie,
it kind of negates that
I'm
argument.
like
Sorry.
number one Alison Brie fanboy. What can I say? You know, they share the same name. Come on, that's an easy mistake to make.
Have you ever thought about Alison Brie and Brie Larson?
Mike, let's move.
Starring in a film
on to
together?
Let's move on to our prediction results.
And the one that
Actually,
I like was,
unfortunately, it's probably like the worst segue, but I do need to go. I need to watch some movies of Alison Brie.
So wait, are you leaving us now, Mike? Or are we gonna
Unfortunately, I
do
have
this-
to leave you guys.
this
Yes,
quickly?
I have a family commitment that I can't skip out of. All right, let's do this bit.
All right.